Hey, good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. It's October the 8th, 2023. Hope you guys have been having a wonderful weekend. My allergies are destroying me, so don't mind the sniffles. I just want to show you around, bring you up to speed. Gonna, but when I leave here today, I want this thing to be ready for the rest of primer. I want to come in tomorrow morning and I just want to tape off, cover up what needs to get covered up before spraying and spray it down. So hopefully by tomorrow night, we'll be wet sanding this baby down and just getting ready to go. I'm wearing glasses because I'm inside and my eyes look like death right now. So that's why. It's not because I wear my sunglasses inside. So let me show you around. Come on. All right, so here we are. I got my sandpaper ready to go because that's all I really need. I got a razor blade ready and I got a brush ready, but as you can tell, I mean, everything is clean. It's super, super clean. We vacuumed in here. We're just ready to go. The only thing that we're going to be dealing with at this point after the fact is just dust. And I know there's going to be some people out there, I know it, that are just going to say, no, you shouldn't be sanding in the paint booth. It's just, it's no good. It's going to get everything dirty. You're going to contaminate where you're going to paint. And I get it. That's fine. You have the luxury of prepping and moving cars around. Then that's great. I can't move this car around too easily. So it's just kind of where I'm at. I want to know what you guys do. Do some of you do what I do and prep inside the paint booth oftentimes? Or do you strictly just keep it, to outside the paint booth? Just out of curiosity. So everything's clean. We're ready to go. We're going to be sanding everything down on this side here. Going to get this rear quarter panel. Going to get the deck lid. And this is the most intricate right here. We're going to get into these nicks and crannies. But that's where we're at. So let's get it going. So here I go with the dual action sander, or the DA. I already hit it with 80 grit, so I'm just going to wing over everything with a 180 grit before I get ready for 320. Just kind of getting everything smoothed out, looking everything over, and make my way around the car. So I wanted to show you this side. So here I am with the DA working, and as you can tell, one hand is grabbing the hose, one is grabbing the sander, kind of make my way around, and I use that as a way to position the tool. You want to keep it as flat as possible. Whenever you come up to those edges, I'm still kind of cutting. I'm not being very cautious about the edge, so I'm kind of going over it. But you'll have more control if you hold the hose with one hand and the tool with the other. Just let the DA do its thing and work your way around, and you'll see and feel for those spots that still need a little bit more attention. And definitely make sure you're wearing a mask. You're going to be throwing dust everywhere, especially going over body filler. And yeah. And here what I want to show you is these really flat spots. I'm not lazy. I just think work smarter, not harder. I'm going to use the DA to hit those flat spots, and then I'll be coming back and blocking it out by hand. But whatever's flat enough for you to use the DA, use the DA. And if you don't have air tools, if you don't have an air DA, you can use electric DAs. This is not strictly limited to tools that run on air. It's okay to use electric. What's faster? Air, but electric ones work just as fine. Okay, so last thing I'm going to do before hitting everything with 320 and getting some primer is I'm going to clean this up. I mean, over the time you work, you're going to get water and just run off here from what you're sanding. And what I was mentioning before, this project, it's crazy long, but you just can't fix everything that comes up. I mean, it's not a complete top to bottom, every bolt restoration kind of deal. 320s left for the roof, 320 on the door, 320 on this panel. The booty side, I have not touched it today. It's going to have to get 180, then 320, so I can get primer there. I mean, the thing I'm really doing right now is I'm trying to get primer on as much as I can before I leave today. I'm going to come back tomorrow and continue work on it. It's Columbus Day tomorrow, so I'm going to have that opportunity to come back and get some more stuff done. But what I'm trying to do is get as much primer on it as I can in the spots that tend to oxidize whenever I leave and then come back. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a wet rag and soak it with some soapy water. And then I'm just going to clean out right here, because I do want to lay some primer down in here before I leave today. And once I'm done with this, cleaning this out, I'm gonna blow it with the air gun. You can get another rag and dry it. You do not need air for any of this, except for the spraying the gun, obviously. But yeah, once this is cleaned up, I'm gonna get another rag, dry it off. And then I'm gonna hit it with a Scotch pad. So let me show you what that looks like. So I cut a square, and this is really, really, really good for door jams, for jams here underneath the hood or underneath the hood, because it just gets into all of those crevices, gets around the bolts, and just it's easy to work with. I mean, obviously this is wet. I'm not gonna be doing it right now, but yeah, just getting you up to speed on what's going on. We'll be getting some primer on the car today, so you'll see some of that going on. Stay tuned. All right, so here, there's some areas that were super, super stubborn. No big deal. Grab yourself a little piece of 180 and just contour your hand. Normally you don't want to use your hand for a lot of sanding because it's not flat like a block, but this is just, I mean, this is a jam leading up to the wiper cowl. It's no big deal. It's gonna look a lot better putting in this little extra effort than just the pad, because the pad's gonna do great. I mean, the pad's gonna get in all these little crevices and it's gonna get it really cleaned up for what you're wanting and needing to do in here. But there's just some areas that are stubborn, and just depending on how you do your work, I pay attention to detail. I see these kind of things. I notice things. I'm extremely observant. It's gonna irk me if I don't do it now and I paint over it and I look at it and I'm just like, dang, I should have done that. Well, just do it. You're already here. You're already sweating. Already putting in the elbow grease. Just do it. I think Nike got that from me. Just do it. Do it. All right, let me keep going and I'll show you what it's looking like when we're done. Let's take a look. So this is what it's looking like after the cleaning and the Scotch pad. And now you come over here and you have a lot better result. It's clean, it's ready to go. It's wipe it down again and then hit it with some wax and grease remover or some paint thinner, whatever floats your boat. I still have to come back on this side and clean it with the Scotch pad, and then likely do the same process over here and clean it with the Scotch pad, and then get in here with a 180 grit. So that's, yeah. And I've already done the undercarriage of the hood with a Scotch-Brite, but I'm gonna go back and do it again since I'm getting ready to spray primer there. So here's a quick snippet of that. And now it starts to get a little exciting because I'm using wax and grease remover. I'm using an old piece of a t-shirt, clean t-shirt, but I'm wiping down the panel and getting ready to go because I'm getting ready to spray some primer. So an old t-shirt or a cloth, whatever works, just get it clean. And here we go. Here's the primer, getting it ready to go. Typically 4-to-1, 4 parts primer, 1 part hardener activator. And you're gonna mix it into your mixing cup. Here's the liner for my cup. And check the lines. Here's 4 parts to 1 part. And I'm gonna start pouring it in. So let me get that ready to go. Anytime you're opening primer or paint, you wanna get your stir stick and mix it as best as you can before you start pouring it. And get it going. For primer, I kind of just pour it out. But when it gets to paint, I don't want to waste any of the paint. So I'll show you guys the kind of lids I use when we get there. There's my 4 parts primer, and I'm going to get the activator hardener ready to go for the 1 part activator hardener. And here we go. We're going to add the activator. I'm just going to remove the lid, and sometimes there's buildup on it, so you just want to make sure you clean the rim. So you see that plastic around that little hardening. It's just clear that out of the way. Otherwise, you're going to pour that into the cup. So here we go. 1 part hardener activator, and it should sit right on top of the primer. It's not going to really mix itself in until you start stirring it. And that's another really, really big thing there. Oh yeah, clean the cap before you put it back on, because it might have some of that stuff hardened on there. When you're stirring, make sure you spend enough time stirring your materials. A lot of people just do a little quick whoosh, whoosh, and they're done. No. Stir it really well and check the consistency, because it's going to go through your gun. You don't want it clumpy. You just want it to be mixed in really well. Give all the solvents a chance to mix and be ready to be sprayed. And here I'm putting the adapter on my gun because I'm going to use the MPS system, which allows me to dispose of the cup once it's done, which is wonderful, much less cleaning. Gonna get my air regulator going, and you could just use the gun as a way to test it without the cup. I'm gonna set it to right around 20 psi at the trigger pull, and I am gonna be set and ready to go. Now with the adapter on, I just have to set it into the MPS system, push it in, it'll kind of click, and then you turn it and you are set and ready to go. Grab your hose, connect it, and then test your spray pattern on some kind of a panel or piece of cardboard before you start spraying on the actual car is what I would recommend. So here's one final wipe before I start spraying. I'm gonna have a piece of cardboard in one hand to prevent overspray, and the other is gonna be holding the gun, and here we go. Boom. Laying it down at 20 psi, 50% overlap, nice and steady. And there it is. Just gonna continue like this on the entire roof and make my way down the side of the car. That's where we're at, folks. Got a primer on the roof. Like I said, I wanted to get primer on most of the car because there's surface rust that develops overnight sometimes because of the morning dew. I really don't know. I mean, it's not a $50,000 paint booth that we're in either, so I totally understand why that happens. But just try to avoid working and then working again. So got primer on everywhere except the tail end. So we'll get there tomorrow. We'll get the doors tomorrow. We'll get the jambs tomorrow inside. We'll get these jambs tomorrow, underneath the hood tomorrow, and the trunk lid tomorrow, and whatever other parts are kind of lingering around. Oh, before I forget, it's good to have a part or a piece of cardboard or something just to kind of test your pattern out before you start spraying on the car. Not 100,000% necessary, but it's just good practice. And remember, this is not normally how I spray primer. I just wanted to get primer on the car. I just needed to get primer on the car so that we avoid double, triple the work with oxidation, rust surface. So yeah, that's where we're at. Stay tuned. Oh, got primer on the deck lid too. Check this out. Check this out. Nice.